Hello world, Fox here, FXRC, and I'm here with my latest project, and I'm calling this project the used 8S Kraton. Yep, used. That's right. I don't typically buy used RCs. You just don't know what you're getting, and you can end up running into a lot more problems than what you anticipated, because you just don't know how other people take care of their things. There was probably some red flags on this truck that I probably should have saw, but when I came across it, it was a pretty good deal, and I got it as a roller, so no electronics, which I was okay with because I typically I'm gonna put my own electronics in anyway. So it saved me the step of taking them out and selling them. Although the stock electronics for this Kraton are pretty good, definitely something you could easily use in something else. Unlike, some things like maybe the X-Max, where the motor is specific to the truck itself and you can't really use it in anything else. So the ESC you can, but not the motor, really not the servo either. I believe you could on this, but anyway, I came across this. I've wanted one, so I said, hey, why not? I'm not really too worried because there's not going to be a lot of this that I'm going to be using, I guess, because I upgraded so much anyway that a roller just kind of made sense. So anyway, as you can see, it has a white body. It is spray painted white on the outside. Very unusual, not something I would have done myself. I don't know. I thought I liked the bodies on these. I don't know why somebody would spray paint it, but they did. The body itself's in pretty good shape, besides the fact that it's spray painted. So I probably can still use it. I don't know if I can get this off. I'm going to try. If not, I will clean it up and use it, maybe just spray paint it black, I guess. I don't know. They didn't even really do that great of a job spray painting it, but anyway, so this is how I came. This is how I got it. It no longer had the Kraton tires. It actually came with X-Max tires that were also spray painted black. I'm guessing that they must have been initially green because the inside's green. It's also not something I'm going to be using. They feel a little like they maybe got water in them, so they weren't plugged, so they probably did get some water in them. But although there's a tiny little hole right there, maybe they did kind of try to vent it a little bit on the outside too. I'm not sure. There's another one there. Well, not the best of venting jobs, but anyway, not really worried because I'm not going to be really using these either. So let's take a look at what else. One of the good things is this M2C motor mount, which is pretty awesome because it's something I'm going to be keeping, as well as these mud guards or whatever that go up front here. I don't know if this is something that comes on the stock or not, or if it's an aftermarket thing, but still good. Something I will be using. On further inspection, I guess when you are buying a used RC, you should probably have them take a lot of pictures and try to get up close and see what you can. I didn't catch a lot of these things until I actually physically saw it. So, but like I said, I'm not incredibly worried because a lot of this I'm not going to be using anyway. I just need a lot of the main parts, I guess. So, but one of the first things I noticed was that rear drive shaft is definitely bent definitely something that was not disclosed to me, and really something I could not tell from the pictures. So I think maybe even that front might be slightly bent too. It's got a little bit of movement, but not much. I probably could bend him back, but I got some new ones anyway. So, but another thing, and I don't know if you can really tell in there, but get some light on this, is there is a lot of sticky, I'm assuming it's diff fluid in there, so, which is leading me to think that that rear diff is leaking, as well as the center diff is also leaking, and the front diff is also has the same issue. There's a lot of more like sticky, I'm assuming that's diff fluid that's leaking out. So I don't know what the deal is with that until I open it up and actually see. You know, besides that, I mean, I guess it's a little beat up, but I mean, it's not terrible. I'm sure it could be worse. They came with actually another body too. It's the X-Max Hummer body that somebody must have had on this, and they got the actual mounts back here instead of in the front where it should be, just so that it could catch the back of that body. And then they didn't have the wing on it, because you can see the wing is still pretty new. I don't think it really got used much at all, which is great. So definitely still need to be using that. So. But none of the shock shafts look bent. I don't think the shocks are really leaking. I think this is just dirt in there. But we'll tell. I did get a set of, oh yeah. So there is an aftermarket servo in here, which is, it's a Hobby Star. It's a very powerful servo. I think it's an actual 5th scale servo too. I'm not sure if I'm crazy at how they actually got the thing mounted in there. It's going way far, and instead of, you know, it looks like they just took a chisel to the plastic there to get it so it would fit. You know, and it just doesn't, it moves a lot. You can see, I mean, I think it just moves a lot. I'm sure it'll be a little bit more secure with the top on there, but that's definitely not what I'm going to be doing. I'm not sure what I am. I mean, it's not a bad servo. It's waterproof. It's blue, so it's definitely waterproof. And it's a very strong servo, so maybe I will use it. I'm not entirely sure yet until I get there. But anyway, like I said, saving grace. One of the things is nice is that it does have this M2C motor mount with the insert for the larger motors, so which is great. Initially, I think they had a Max 5 with the Max 800 kV, the Hobby Wink 800 kV motor in this, which is actually the same system I'm going to be putting on. I opted not to buy that with this and just put my own in, because, and I'm glad I did, from the state of the truck itself. I'm sure the motor and ESC probably wouldn't have been that much different. So, I mean, but besides that, I mean, there's a few screws missing, and as you can see from the bottom here, there's an access hole to the motor mount. It looks as if they might have taken a chisel to the hole there for some reason. Maybe they're having trouble with one of the screws or something. But and there is a few screws missing, but not really anything I'm too worried about. I can easily replace those. So all in all, I mean, I guess it's not in terrible shape. I mean, the main components look like they're okay, I guess, and I can still use them. A little green paint on these that I did just manage to scrape off. So they definitely like their paint for sure. So anyway, my plans are to salvage what I can, and like I said, a lot of this I'm not going to be using, because I have all of this. So that beautiful M2C chassis with all the chassis bracing and a whole bunch of other goodies. So Right, well, I don't want to say the halfway mark, but at least it's all stripped down now. And 1,000 pieces. And we can rebuild her. We can make her stronger. We can make her better. So, not quite, I would say halfway. Got a lot more work to do, but get to it. I want to say it probably would have been a little bit more money to just buy a brand new one, but it definitely would have been less work, and for sure. So anyway, this is my Arrma Kraton 8S used project, I guess we could say, and I gotta say it came out pretty sick. I've been kind of waiting to get one of these, only because I like to do a lot of upgrading and stuff like that, so I really wanted to wait a little bit to make sure that there was going to be enough out there aftermarket wise for this. I know M2C came out with some stuff right away, but there was some other stuff that I wanted. So anyway, as you can see, the body was actually spray painted white. Not something I would necessarily do or suggest doing, spray painting the outside of a body, but whatever, to each their own, I guess. The body itself is in really good shape. I don't know if I'm going to be, I did take a couple of stickers off here to see kind of how easy this was going to get off. I don't know what kind of paint this is on here. It's like primer or something, because that stuff is on there really, really well. I don't know if I can get it off, or if I'm even going to bother taking the time. I'm going to beat the crap out of this body and probably just get a new one anyway. So, I might just leave it. So I don't really care really about that. What I care about is underneath. So anyway, the body off and see how beautiful this thing came out. Now this is actually part one. I have three actually more things, and then it will be done. Well, actually maybe four, I guess. So you can see I have X-Max tires on here, and it's something that this came with. They were drilled out all right, and they're still in decent shape. So I think X-Max tires on these are actually a good idea. I've seen people run them, and they're just probably really good for getting air and stuff like that. But I do have a set of Proline, and these are great for running. I have a set on my X-Max, on the X-Max also, that I think it's a really good tire. They're heavy compared to what a lot of stuff that's out there, especially the actual stock X-Max tires. They're definitely heavier, which isn't always great for jumping and stuff like that, because you can definitely, with the inertia and stuff, break some more stuff. But so I do have a set for these that I just have to drill them out, because they're obviously meant for X-Max, so the hole's a lot smaller. But I've seen it done. I know it can be done. So anyway, moving on. I have the M2C chassis, as well as the actual hinge fin bracing there. You can't see the rear one because it's behind that rear bumper, but I have it in the front and the rear. I don't know if you can really see that front system either, but anyway, it's all M2C. What else? M2C motor mount, as well as this little part right here. I got the M2C Max 5 plate that just screws right to the Max 5 and then screws right to the actual box there. So pretty cool. Besides that, I probably would have just glued it down. Sticky taped it down and zip tied it. But it's screwed, so definitely a nice way to secure it down, I gotta say. So what else? M2C also has this little tiny, it's the thing that goes in the end of your servo saver there. I should probably just take these off, actually. So I got these little, it came with these little mud guards. I don't think this is a stock thing. I think it's an aftermarket thing. That it's a nice little thing to keep the mud from flinging in here as much as possible anyway. But when I was ordering the M2C parts, they were out of the actual steering assembly, which is just the 2 steering arms and the actual piece that right there. So I end up getting a GPM one, which also came with the upper rear hinge pin brace, which I thought was pretty cool. So I said screw it and got it. So but the problem is these holes on the stock one are actually, so they have the little space there, which looks like it's meant for a bolt, which in most of the case on this, these are actually meant to have little bolts that go in here, but this is actually just an insert for those for these actual mud guards, and the actual hole itself should be threaded so you can screw down into it, and this is not. I don't know if it was just an oversight by GPM, which is kind of one of the reasons I don't necessarily go for the GPM products. You know, it's just, they're okay. You know, I don't know, they always seem to have some kind of issue with them, whether, you know, just something, little things, or just, I don't know. But anyway, I do have the GPM aluminum shock towers, and once again, you know, they look cool, I guess, and they're probably, as far as like being stronger maybe, but see, once again, I think it's just an oversight where instead of supporting the shock towers on both sides like the stock composite one does, it just has a bolt, and just so that bolt is now only supported on one side, and it's only a 4M bolt. So I think that's going to be a problem. I've actually bent the M2C 4mm standoffs on just my 8 scale, so I don't see these 4mm bolts holding up very well. I do have a set of the Losi BXLE or something, whatever it is, that 5th scale Losi buggy has some standoffs that I'm gonna try and maybe hope that it works better than just some bolt, but I'm not really holding my breath, like I said. So I think it looks nice, but I just don't think that this system only being supported on one side is going to hold up well. I think I'm just going to be a lot of problems bending these screws holding that top part of that shock tower. So I'm in shock. But anyway, I'm going to give them a shot, see what happens. But as you can see, I got the hot racing shock cap, collar, as well as the bottom there is all aluminum. Pretty cool. Definitely looks nice. I don't think the collar being aluminum or the bottom of the shock has really any performance effect, like it's going to make it any better. The aluminum shock cap, and it's emulsion opposed to bladder. I definitely think that's pretty cool and probably going to be helpful, but these being aluminum, probably not a big deal, and I don't really see it being helpful at all, but it looks nice, so why not, right? So I have those. What else? Power system. Obviously, the Max 5 ESC, as well as this huge 800 kV motor. Look at the size of that thing. I love these Hoppy Wing systems. So they've been really just a reliable system for me. So underneath here, I have a 34, which I guess the spur gear on this is and it's just an Arrma spool for the Limitless, and then I have the Saga 35 pinion. I was planning on putting this in the 35 pinion in here, but it looks like it's a little too wide to actually fit in there without rubbing. I'm gonna actually see if it will fit when I take this out again. For the next step of the actual process, which is going to be, I have aluminum diff cases, all 3 coming. So the middle one is going to be a GPM, and then the front and the rear are from Vidavon, which is, like I said, it was just kind of waiting for more stuff to come out, one of being the diff cases. I have not heard of anybody having any issues with the diff cases in these. and so it has nothing to do with that. It's just a cool factor, I guess, and it's gonna look sick. So I can't wait. But the problem with Vidavon, this is actually, I've been really waiting for a reason, I've been really waiting to actually get something from Vidavon. I've been looking at stuff for a while, but the shipping time, because it's coming from China, is just so long. I mean, we're talking like it's probably going to be like a month before they actually get here. I bet that I do tend to avoid it, and it's slightly more expensive than what it's like opposed. They make diff cases for the 8 scale Arrmas, and they look absolutely amazing. But I just go with the hot racing because I know they work really well. They're slightly cheaper, and it's going to get here a lot quicker. So anyway, this did have the rear bracing here system, but I could not get this. I've seen people, videos of them using this with the M2C system the right way. This is supposed to be turned around the other way, and there's a hole right here to bolt to that bolt down there. But I don't know if it's because this piece right here is too wide, and maybe they didn't have that. I don't know if that's an 8mm brace, but it just wouldn't go unless I put spacers underneath the here and here. And I just figured, nah, I'll just turn it around, use it anyway, but I'm not utilizing that bolt there. I can't see it being too much of a problem with this M2C chassis. I've seen people also running without this at all with this M2C chassis and being perfectly fine. So anyway, I have the rear sway bar as well as the front sway bar assembly. Look at that. I got the 4mm in the front, and then I want to say this rear one was like a 5mm sway bar system, and this system's pretty sick. It's this all aluminum, so pretty sick. I don't know if 5mm might be too much for the rear. They have a few different sizes. I want to say maybe 3 all the way up to 5 for the thickness of the actual sway bar. But anyway, I got a 5 and a 4, and we'll see how it works. And if I need to get different ones, I will. So I have aluminum hot racing steering block in the front. Look at that thing, it's sick, absolutely sick. I think they say triple bearing, and they just give you an extra bearing to go in between the 2 stock bearings. So as well as hot racing in the rear. So if you can see it, but it's there, and it is absolutely sick, which is also their triple bearing. So they just kind of give you an extra bearing to throw in between the 2 stock ones. I have all sealed bearings throughout. I just got the whole Fast Eddie seal bearing kit, and this one had seal bearings on the diff cases. I don't know if that's a stock thing, or if it was something the guy did himself when who I bought this used from. So, but anyway, it already had seal bearings. So, like I said, I don't know if it was stock or not, but anyway. What else? I want to say that's probably about it on what I have done. Yes, that's right, servo. So servo for this thing is tricky. And it came actually with an aftermarket servo. It had it seemed like an okay servo. It's a Hobby Star waterproof 70 kilogram. That's a pretty strong servo, but because of, and this is a 5th scale servo, I don't know if I think the servo stock is a 6th scale servo, but I wanted something obviously better, more powerful, but because the size is so wonky, I guess, that it was super hard to find a good servo that would fit in to the actual system while still utilizing the whole servo saver. And then there's this little tiny, like I said, the M2C part right there that goes into the actual side whatever on the plastic there. and it locks in and it supports the other side of the actual servo saver. So I wanted to utilize all of that while still having a 5th scale servo. So I had to look around, and actually what I came across, stock would have been a Spectrum servo. So I obviously I was like, well, maybe Spectrum has a servo that will fit, that is 5th scale. So also too, when I because they had this Hobby Star servo in there, they hacked up the actual servo mount to get this to fit into the actual 6th scale servo mount. Well, so I ended up buying one anyway, the whole servo mount system, and it comes with a servo mount for the 6th scale and a servo cell mount for the 5th scale servos. So obviously I just used the 5th scale, and then it covered fitting from one here. But the problem with this servo is this part is so tall that it made the actual servo saver push way too far to actually use the actual bracing for the other end. It just and the person before ground out all of that so that the servo saver would kind of fit into the side pieces here. So anyway, to use it all right, I looked and I found a servo, and I get this amazing thing. Now this thing is not cheap. It's crazy expensive actually for a servo. It was like $224, and I think that was on sale. But it is insanely powerful. What is it saying? So at 8.4 volts, this thing is 1,453 ounce-inches of torque. That's an insane amount of, I don't think it's waterproof. I'm not really planning on running too much water. But still absolutely insane, and it fit in there like a glove. It was a little tight pushing it in, but it worked. So I gotta say, I'm super impressed. I can't wait to see how I'm probably going to be running it on 7.4 volts, but I think even at 7.4 volts it's still well over 1,000 inches of torque. So super impressive servo. Can't wait to see how well it works. And it seemed to be pretty fast too. So anyway, and I got this all on my Spectrum receiver, and I'm going to be running it on my DX5C, which is kind of my go-to bashing radio transmitter and receiver system. So should work great for this. But anyway, that is the first, I guess, look at my 8S Arrma Kraton. Or used 8S Arrma Kraton. And like I said, because I wasn't planning on using a lot of what came, the stock parts and stuff like that, I really wasn't too worried. Just to buy the 3 diff cases, 3 diff Lawrences alone are like $300. So, and I think I got this for about $400, so it's not a bad deal. And I ended up getting a couple batteries with it too. So, and it had the M2C motor mount already. So, there was enough value in there where I felt like even if a lot of the parts weren't that great, there was enough there where I was going to be worth it for me to get it. So, and I want to say rescue it, but anyway, came out pretty sick already. I can't wait to actually get these 3 aluminum diff cases in there. It's going to be absolutely impressive. So anyway, this is Fox FXRC. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing. It costs you nothing, so you might as well. Thank you so much. Bye.